Good afternoon, those of us in the Washington, D.C., New York area. If you are in London, it is 8 p.m. ish in the evening. For those of us in Nigeria, welcome again to another edition of Broken Not Shattered. Wherever you are in the world, it's me, your host, Ike Wibley, back again this Sunday with a special. First of all, I need to apologize that we're well behind our normal time because my guests is a very special guest, someone I've known for about 30 years plus. And in that 30 years, a lot has happened. And she just celebrated an awesome landmark yesterday, a big bash in London, England, and my family were there, and everyone is still talking about it. But she's based in the United States, California to be precise. And let us welcome in our guest this afternoon, no one else but Terri Obunna. Hey, Terri. Terri is Terri Obunna Dodds,
Yeah,
correct?
correct. Yes.
What's up, buddy?
Hi, long time, Ike. You should have been
Yes,
here.
sir. Thank you. First of all, I want to sincerely apologize for not being able to be in the UK yesterday for your special landmark birthday. You turned the big 5-5, I guess that's what it is. You don't look it.
Right.
You don't look it. You don't look it.
Thank
You know, they
you.
say black doesn't crack. But yeah, you welcome again, and thanks again for making out time to be on this show. Where we're just gonna talk about stuff for the next 30 minutes, and then I know your family are around from all over the place. You got folks from all over the place, and
Yes.
so we're gonna make the best out of this time. Okay, Terri, you go. Introduce yourself to the world. Everyone's watching. You're both live on Facebook and YouTube.
Okay. Wow. Hi, everyone. My name is Terri Dodds, aka Terri. It's interesting because anyone who's known me from my life in London and pre-marriage knows me as Terri, and people who know me post-marriage know me as Terri. So I always know based on who's calling me what phase of my life I know them by, and how close of a friend, and old of a friend that they are. And so I calling me Terri. You also had a nickname for me, right? And your brother yesterday wrote it in one of his sentiments, Terry Nwamba, right? Remember that?
That's
Yeah.
right. I remember that.
Yes.
And for
So
those who don't understand what one means, it means Terry, a gorgeous woman, a pretty woman, and a beautiful person.
yes.
Good soul, good heart.
So I always love that nickname from you and your family is very dear to me. So I'm really glad that they represented for you. And it wasn't the same without you. Like I kept looking at the door and looking at the door. Like, he's just gonna walk in any minute. I didn't believe you. I didn't believe that you weren't gonna be here. So
I tried everything in the books to see if I could make it. It wasn't possible, but I'll make up for it one way or the other. So let's
well,
talk about you. How's life?
life is good. I can't complain. Moved to the States 25 years ago. So not only was this a landmark celebration, but it was also 25-year reunion. Some people I have not seen since I left the United Kingdom 25 years ago. And in addition, there were and even those people who I had stayed in touch with, I hadn't really seen them in 25 years. So it was a beautiful event, just celebrating myself, my family, and friends. And part of the reason why is, moving to the States, as an adult, the friendships that you forge and the values that you're raised on, sometimes they don't always translate when you move. And it's always hard to sort of start your life over again as an adult. So after celebrating 24 birthdays in the States, landmark birthdays in the States, and having gone through 2 years of quarantine and COVID, I'm one of 7 children. My parents are still alive. I'm an auntie to 12. No, is it 11? 11. So I just said, this next birthday, to celebrate with family, friends, people who really have got my back. And
Right.
so I talked to my brother about it, talked to Ike about it. He was really instrumental in making it a huge success because he is always good he's like the mayor. He's still connected to everybody. Those tentacles go far and wide, Nigeria, Germany, London, America. And so he was able to really make sure that my guest list was robust with everyone who I wanted to be there. So I was so excited to see everyone yesterday. And this is, I would say, I've had some parties and I've enjoyed them. But I would have to say that this is probably the most fun I've had at a party. And the reason why is just everyone who was in my circle just took over. Once I had done all the prep and everything, once the hair and makeup artist came, that was it. Stuff was going on behind the scenes. I said, listen, as long as we've got DJ, we've got food, and we've got people, I don't care. All the touches, don't care about cake, don't care about cookies, don't care about tins, don't care about the drink tickets. We will be fine. So that's exactly what happened. So I just put it up to God and I said, we're going to show up. And everything came together. Everyone had an amazing time. Friends from way back when we were babies, aunties, uncles, nieces, everyone just had an amazing time. So
that's the power of family, genuine good friendship. Again, I apologize I couldn't make it. Yes, I brought everyone together, but I didn't show up. But that's a story for another day altogether. The most important thing is that you had a great time and you had your family around. Terri, 25 years away. I mean, I remember the exact day you left for the United States, and we were like, oh my God, a piece of all of us has actually gone, and there was an extension of you actually out there that we were all saying that. But most of us didn't know how far California is. We thought it was just around the corner like New York and Philly. You actually started off in Philadelphia and then you moved to California.
I did.
What made you, first of all, what made you move from London to the States? How did you start thinking America? Because there's a lot of people watching the show today who also want to make that move. One of the things about Broken Not Shattered, it's the inspiration of the whole show. It's not just talking about the sad things of life, but also the great things of life. Now, I know that some people have the hope that one day I will move to the States and make it big. I know a lot of folks who have come to the States and they haven't made it big. That you and I are fortunate to make it well and big. It's just the grace of God. But in that process, we've been through a lot of ups and downs. We'll get to that later on. But let's talk about, first of all, what made you move, start thinking at that young age when all of us were still back in the UK, thinking the US.
I see. Well, the beautiful thing about living in the UK is that the news is not just UK news or news about England, it's world news. And we also watch shows from all around the world. And I, from a young age, from an early teen, 13 years old exactly, loved watching all my American shows. Chips, Knight Rider, Baywatch. And I saw California. And at 13, my mother took myself and my younger siblings to New Jersey. It was in the middle of the summer. It was hot. It was amazing. We weren't even staying in any luxe places. My parents, my mother's brothers lived in not a plush part of Newark, New Jersey. Let's just put it that way. Yet I could still see the potential. I enjoyed it. I actually loved the flavor of the Americans, Yeah. And so I love the flavor. And I felt like it was the land of opportunity. Felt like no matter what or where you came from, you could make it in America if you put in the hard work. And I think as immigrants, especially seeing your parents come from Nigeria, move to England and make it, it just made me feel like anything is possible with a lot of hard work, prayer, and support. So I knew from the age of 13 I wanted to go to America. At 18, that was my second trip to America, again, vacation with my family, with my mother and my siblings. And then my girlfriend, Sonia, one of my closest friends, she moved to the States to go to college. So every summer, I would go and spend 3 to 4 weeks in Washington, D.C. with her. So I went to college, graduated, and I decided I wanted to go into pharmaceutical sales. And I reached out to a lot of companies and interviewed, and they were like, we love you, but we can't just hire you from overseas. We haven't seen you. We don't know you. So I said, okay. And I started my career in London, and I had an opportunity to go to the States to a conference. And at that conference, I schmoozed and liaised with some of our subsidiary counterparts at this conference. And at the end of it, I was taking a lot of marketing materials. I was in marketing at the time. I took a lot of marketing materials and said, I need to go back and take this to my team. And one of the guys said, don't bother taking this stuff back. You should come and work for us. And so I took it. I said, I would love to. So I took this business card, came back, and they connected me with a number of people I interviewed. And the guy said, I really like you. This is October 1996. I really like you, but I can't hire you sight unseen. Are you coming to the States anytime soon? I'm like, no, I'm not. And then in December, myself and my friend Jacqueline Onyeka, Jackie.
Yep.
She said, we were feeling a little down. It was really, really cold. We said, let's go to the States for Christmas and New Year. And that's what we did. We did New York, DC, and we spent New Year's in no, we did New York, Christmas in New York. We did then we went to New Year's in Atlanta, and then we went back to Washington D.C. and spent the last part. So when I was in New York, I had an interview with that same gentleman. I called him and I said, we spoke in October. Now this is like November. And you mentioned that you had a position. He said, yep. And I interviewed for the position on the phone. And I told him that I was going to come to America. I did. He interviewed me on the spot. And they flew me out to Virginia and offered me the job on the spot. Did all my paperwork. And 6 days later, I came home and shared the news with my father. Yesterday at the party, they talked a lot about that. And it wasn't easy because having grown up in London, having had such a tight network of friends, our crew, Ike,
Right.
It was like 25 of us. We would go to Alton Towers together. We'd have picnics in the park together. Right. We would party together. We would share. We were inseparable. And so it was tough leaving all that behind. And I thought I would find that in the States. So that's sort of the downside is that, all the things that you had in London, especially the value system, it's not easy to always have that when you relocate as an adult. But I still, handpicked my US family. So now I do have a core group of people who I can really vouch for and who I know vouch for me.
So let's just stay there for a second. So for the person who's thinking of moving over from the UK to the US, is the transition as I know my own experience. I'll let you share yours. Is the transition as smooth as it should, as people actually think? And what are the pitfalls and what are the challenges of moving from the UK, which is also a Western world, to the US, which is also another Western world?
Okay. Yeah, so I would say I moved and I was relocated by a company, which is beautiful. So I moved, I had a job. They helped relocate me. They helped ship all my things over. So I just needed to show up. And they gave me a little stipend to help me get set up. So that was beautiful. But I tell you, for months, Ike, unless I picked up the phone and called home, I would not speak to anyone because you don't have any friends. I was trying to move to DC to be with my friend Sonia, who I told you I went to spend every summer with. But the job that I ended up getting, because that one got filled, was in Philadelphia. So I'm in Philadelphia. I don't know anyone. So I spent a lot of money shopping, going to malls because I was bored. And I would talk to people. And so that's the thing you have to realize. So anyone who says they're coming to the States, I tell them, make sure you have some kind of connection, someone that you're rooted with. Our friend Jackie, she just relocated to the States. And she keeps talking about, maybe I'll live here, maybe I'll live in San Francisco. And I said to her, don't do it. You have roots in Southern California. And you have people who really have time to help you get to where you want to get to because they're invested in you. You move to San Francisco, who do you really have? An extended friend or a family member. Or you move to Minneapolis, it's really cold. You want to go back you might as well just stay in England. So my advice is really, if you decide you want to go to the States, do your homework. See if you can't shine in front of a company so that they will do some of that groundwork for you. My company, Genentech, who I love till today for doing that for me, my green card, my visa, everything, they took care of it. And then also make sure you have one or two people that are really for you, that can really help you navigate through all the, just having somebody there to talk to and having someone to hang out with. Yeah.
So you had the soft landing.
I had a very soft landing, and I know people have had a hard landing.
Yes, and I know folks that have had a hard landing. I will say, in my case, I had a semi soft landing. I was, it was soft. It was soft because I came to visit at that time, and while I was visiting, someone offered me an opportunity and said, "Hey, if you can actually come over, we can try and find something for you." And I went back after my visit and decided to come back to the United States. And when I came, they said, "Hey, there's an opportunity started for you." It wasn't the best of opportunity, but it was an opportunity that I could capitalize on and begin to grow. So I think for those of audience who are listening or who might listen to this later on, you might have to start somewhere. You don't have to start afresh. You might start from somewhere that might not be where you were back in the UK and begin to grow up. The culture is different. The people are different. The society and the system is completely different. Someone coming from the US, from the UK, you're so used to a socialist way of thinking But in America here, we are big in capitalism. It's all about the Benjamins at the end of the day. The show today is age is nothing but a number. And there's a reason why I have mentioned and we have coined it age is not but a number. We're going to take a short break. And then when we come back from that break, we're going to discuss more with Terri and all the stuff that she has to share with us. Stand by. We are back at Broken Not Shattered. Here I am in the United States, and Terri is in London, England, and just celebrating her 55th birthday yesterday. She doesn't look it. You know, I know, guys. Don't worry. If you want to get to know more, just send me a DM, and we can talk about that later on. Yeah, she's like, yeah, whatever. Thank you. She has a big smile, full of life. Terri, the journey hasn't been as smooth as it is. It's filled with ups and downs. Came over, everything looked smooth. Everyone's like, "Oh my god, I want to be like Terri. I want to be like Terri." Do they know what Terri has been through? Do you want to talk about it? Would you like to share?
I'm happy to share. Absolutely. Been in the States for 25 years now, and one thing I do is I just truck on, regardless of what adversity hits me. And I think what I do is because I'm just focused on getting the job done, I stay focused. And to the outside person looking in, maybe I make it look easy. But I guess at night, when when a tear falls or when I'm reaching out to a friend and venting, I use my friends really, really extensively. I've bent your ear many times. My vision of moving to the States it was a fairy tale. Move to the States, get this amazing job, meet my prince. His family would become my family. We'd all live happy ever after. And on weekends, we'd send the kids off to grandma's house while we skipped through the meadows and, picked strawberries and drank champagne. Well, I did meet somebody who I thought was my prince. We got married and we had two amazing children. But very soon and early in the marriage, I realized that it wasn't going to work. And, sometimes you just marry the wrong person. And I don't think that we were equally yoked. And when my youngest was 1 and my oldest was 4, I decided that it was time to, end the marriage. And that wasn't easy because I don't know why I said it to myself. I said, I'll try and stick it out. I was pregnant when I came to that decision, actually, with my second child. But I tried to stick it out, and I said to myself, I'm going to wait until he's walking. Guys, don't wait until they're walking because it's even harder when they're walking because now you've got 2 kids to chase around, not 1. But I don't know why. I just felt like he'll be stronger. I don't know what I thought. But I made the decision to get a divorce, and it was the hardest thing I've ever done, I think. It was a year and a half of contention and struggle. But I kept looking at my kids every night and saying, I'm doing it for them. I wanted them to either be raised, in a household where they could emulate their parents. And if I felt that we weren't on the same path, I felt it would be better for me to be a single mother and then for us to co-parent separately. But every night, there's a song by Roscoe Flatts that I would sing. And I would sing it to them. I would cry while I'm singing it to them. It's called God Bless the Broken Road. And
God bless the what?
God Bless the Broken Road.
Oh.
It's actually a song in the Lightning McQueen soundtrack. And my son loved Lightning McQueen, my oldest son, Marshall. He's now 17. Loved watching the Cars movie. And that was one of the songs on the soundtrack. And I would sing it every night to them. And if I didn't sing it, they would say, Mommy, Broken Road, sing Broken Road. And the song is just about going through ups and downs, and it leads you to something good, whether it's a loved one. For me, the marriage was tumultuous, up and down. The divorce was even worse, but it led me to these 2 amazing kids. And I had no regrets, because if I'd married somebody else or didn't marry my ex, and then, who knows if I would have been a mother or if I would have even had their spirits as children. And, parenting isn't easy, but I wouldn't give them up for the world. So now here you are in a country with an amazing job, but you have 2 children, and I travel for my job. I'm in pharmaceutical sales, and I travel for my job. Even though I don't travel often, I travel enough where having a support system is important. And
You have a support system?
I do now, but a support
What did you
system.
have then at the time? What was the biggest challenge?
Babysitters, people you just go on to nanny.com or care.com, or you ask your friend, if they know someone. I remember putting a note on Facebook saying, I'm looking for a tutor, a nanny, and a housekeeper. And my girlfriend says, you need a wife. And it hit me like, I need a wife, but I am the wife or was a wife. And so I literally, and it hit me that that's what we do as mothers, as wives. And I know men do the same thing as well. This is very much a 50-50 society, and everybody pitches in, but that's what I needed. I needed someone that could come and help pick up the slack and allow me to do my job. One thing I didn't do was stop and think about what I was doing, because if I did, I probably would have quit, then taken a lower paid job, maybe moved into a 1-bedroom apartment out of our 4-bedroom home, and just so I could be with my kids every day. But I knew the kind of life I wanted for them, and I wanted them to see a strong mom. And I didn't come to America to go backwards. I came to America to propel forwards. And I didn't always tell everybody what I was going through, because I knew my parents would say, just come home, just come home. And I just pushed through. And the kids were troopers. Those kids are resilient. I know they say kids are resilient, but they were troopers. Just back and forth, this nanny, that nanny, dad, every other weekend, half of the holidays. I had my list. I checked it twice. I would give the nannies almost like I had a playbook on what to do every day, and when I had a new nanny, it was, I've got to start all over again. But that's what I did. And it cost me, but it allowed me to work harder so that I could offset that cost with earning more money, so that my kids, I could give them more and give them better stuff.
So let's just say, wow. So let's just say, the 13-year-old Terri was speaking to the 50-year-old Terri, right? What would the 50-year-old Terri tell the 13-year-old Terri that she did not know at that time about life? There is a woman watching right now that her life is where you were. What? That divorce is now what? Almost 15 years now, right?
Yeah, 2009,
14
13 years, 13,
13,
14
14, yeah. Okay, because uh,
Landon
London,
was one.
London
Yeah,
is 12, is 13 or 14 now.
14 now.
Okay, yeah. So that's 14 years ago. So what would you tell that Terri? And then I'm going to give you an opportunity to talk to the woman who is actually where you are and advise them. The message is a message of hope. We have 30 minutes. This show is very brief for 30 minutes. I told you I wasn't going to take much of it. The clock, it says we have 23 minutes. So talk to the 13-year-old first, and then talk to the woman.
Okay. So you said the 50-year-old me or the 55-year-old me? Because the 50-year-old me would tell us something different than today.
Okay, let's talk about the 55-year-old you then.
Oh, the 55-year-old me would tell the 13-year-old me to still go for your dreams. I wouldn't change a thing. I love my life in California, but make sure you make some solid friends. My picker was off. And I don't think I was very confident. I think even though you guys put me on a pedestal back in those days, you really did. I think you were part of the guys that gave me that confidence in me and even to move to the States. But I think my picker was off, which is why I didn't pick somebody who I felt, I could ride off into the sunset forever with. And so I would really tell my 13-year-old self to believe in themselves. No matter what flaws you have, that's what makes you unique and beautiful. And to go for your dreams and just to keep your circle really tight. The circle I had in the UK, I don't think I could ever duplicate that. But just to make sure you keep close to those friends, no matter where you are and family, and because you want people who are in your corner that can help propel you. The other thing is I would say as well is make sure that if you have a circle of friends, make sure everyone's not like you, and make sure you're not better, but maybe make sure you're not in a place where everyone is looking up to you. You need to have a really balanced circle.
Yeah.
Yep. So you're looking to these people and you're helping these people. and you're also, celebrating with the people who are where you are.
Right. I think that's big. So what would you tell then to the woman who would be in a similar situation you were 14 years ago?
I
It's
would tell her,
dark right now. She feels everything's going to fall apart. Or to the guy, maybe who's losing hope that the family has just crumbled, is broken, but it hasn't shattered.
okay. And I would just say it's broken, but it's not shattered. And out of, the fire will rise the phoenix. And nobody can tell you when you're having a baby the pain of childbirth. They can explain it. They can't explain what pregnancy is properly until you go through it. And only someone who's gone through it can really tell you. And I'm going to tell you, it's going to be tough. It's going to be hard. But if you truly believe in what you're doing, then try to make it as amicable as possible. Put the children first all the time. Never badmouth the other parent, and just always be positive and turn the cheeks. I've had friends that I've actually fallen out with because they couldn't understand why I wasn't cursing out my ex-husband. So he's the father of my children. If I curse him, I'm cursing them. And it doesn't serve.
So
Yeah,
tell a lot about how you were raised. Says a lot about how you were raised.
yeah,
Because
my
the average
Igbo
American
parents,
chick ain't saying that, man. She's gonna cuss
they're
you out.
not, and they were African American, and they went, "What, girl? You
Yeah,
need to."
exactly.
I was like, no. And it got to the point where they thought I was being fake. They told me, they actually wrote me a letter and said, you're being fake.
Mm.
And I'm like, no, I go home every night and cry. Plus, I call you all the time. But in front of my children, I have to be strong. And if I crumble and I've made this decision, then it means that I've made a bad decision. I might as well go back. And I'll tell you this, Ike, there was a time when it was so painful. My ex-husband didn't make it easy to leave. And I think he may have wanted the marriage to work, but didn't know how to. And I wasn't going to go back unless things changed. And it was really, really hard. And I just said, one day, I just said, I can't do this. I would come home every night, and on my floor were just papers, litigation. And every night I was typing. And I tell you, till today, I really regret spending all that time on all that rubbish, because I read to my oldest son every single night. This kid was reading Harry Potter age 7. But my younger son, I didn't have the time to read with him. And he struggled for a while. Now he's great, but I had to put in some intervention. So I would say it all comes out in the wash. And everything you're fighting over, at the end of the day, you end up, my ex was like fighting for all this time, and my girlfriends were like, "You're gonna fight for all this time, Chris. Let him have it, because at the end of the day, those kids are gonna still be with you most of the time." And guess what? He fought for all the time, but his life got busy, and those kids are with you all the time. And my 17-year-old now has a job and he's driving, so I can't get rid of him because the car's at my house. So stay strong. If you are convicted in your decision, then know that it will get better. You will get through it. But always have a positive outlook. Get counseling to vent, or if you have a good friend that you can bend their ear, do that. But never let the children feel that tension between you and the ex. And always do your best to co-parent. If you have children involved, co-parent as best you can. And if it's getting heated, just say, you know what, let's talk about this another time.
Yeah, I think that's a big advice. I mean, life happens, but I think the most important thing, as long as the children are involved, both parents should find a balance and stay friendly, or at least cordial to each other, if nothing else, because the kids are actually watching every time you guys go off on each other. I remember my daughter saying to me one time, "Mom doesn't like you." And I said, "Well, she didn't she didn't like me. She wouldn't have married me at the beginning. So there must have been a time when she did actually like me at some point." And I think it's just all that back and forth. But with time, as they grow older, they can now see that unfortunately the marriage did not work, but they're in a better place because both parents stepped up and showed them the love and care that they do deserve. Age is nothing but a number, and that was R. Kelly's famous or infamous song. Now we know what it was all about. That's a story for another day altogether. But yes, with you, age is not a number. So you've just turned 55.
Yes.
I know we've hit our 30 minutes time, but that's fine. My audience will be so excited to see you. Um, Tell me, what is it 55? What does that mean to you? What are you looking to do? You're about to leave the UK in a few days to
Yeah.
another part of the world where you are directly or indirectly connected to. That first time your kids are going to that part of the world. We're not going to talk about it for now for security.
Mm.
But when you come back from that trip, I want
Yes.
to be again on this show so you can share that experience. So, what are you looking to do with the rest of your life, and what's the plan moving forward, Terry?
My theme song is Living My Life Like It's Golden. And if anyone doesn't already realize it, I have a very young spirit. And I think that I'm good skincare, Arbonne baby. I actually do sell Arbonne skincare, and I think that's also responsible for this great skin. But I will say that having good energy. I have friends around me or people who I know, and I don't feel like we have to become our parents. And just because we're moms, we don't all of a sudden have to start wearing, funny daddy clothes if we feel spirited. Everyone has to be individual. And what I feel is, even though I sometimes may come across as youthful, too youthful, that's what I feel keeps me young, keeps me fun, and has my son's schoolmates calling us the cool moms. There's a group of four of us, and they call us the cool moms. And when you have a 16-year-old or 17-year-old girl saying that they want to hang out with 50-something-year-old woman for their birthday, we did something right.
Right,
When,
right.
yeah, and then when it's Super Bowl and they're all begging to come to my house because I throw the best Super Bowl parties in America, and it's just the kids. And then
Right.
when they're asking me, what are you doing for New Year's? Every other year I would host New Year's. It was kids and families, so the parents would get dressed up, the kids would come in their pajamas, and I would do it every other year because I would alternate New Year's Eve with my ex-husband. And when the kids are like, is Miss Dawes having New Year's at her house again? And now that they're older, they're teenagers and they hang out with their friends, they still want to know, you're doing something right. So for me, 55 is the new 35. Orange is the new black. Orange is my favorite color. But 55 is the new 35. People don't believe how old I am, and I love it. And when I don't have any makeup and my hair's tied back and I have my glasses on, and I get carded, I'm like, you know what? I'm doing something right. So
Right.
I just say, embrace who you are, take care of yourself, drink lots of water, eat as healthy as you can, but have some fun, always eat cake. And I'm a sweet tooth, and I think that keeps me sweet inside. So,
Good. I agree with you. The cake part. I don't
yeah.
do cake. I'm very young at heart too. People don't believe how old I am saying, but recently I've decided to let my gray hair be,
I
and
see.
you can see it's very intentional. I know that the youngish look is there, which is fine. That's okay. But I've allowed the gray hair to be, and I bet you my brother's going to be wondering what is going on with this guy right now. It's not midlife crisis. It's just I want to let people know that you can still be older and be cooler. So because you're getting older doesn't mean all of a sudden you now have to go put yourself in a box. So hence you can see this new this is about what 3 weeks ago that I started letting my hair come out gray like this, and then leaving all this stuff. Even this one, if they don't meet up by the end of next week, it's gone off. I'll just keep doing this. Yeah. So
That salt and pepper, that goatee and the
yeah,
salt and pepper is
yeah.
in.
I saw my brother Chimmy, and he looks so distinguished with him. He goes everywhere, and they think he's a senator in Nigeria. You saw him yesterday, looking like all like.
He was looking
So
good.
I was admiring. I said, you know what, this I have that same thing going. It's the same genes in him that's in me, and that's why I left mine. But we'll see how it
I love
goes.
it.
One day I might just wake up, just shaved off. You know.
Nah.
But yeah, so that's the new look, and it's also part of my direction in life and where I'm going to with the new phase of things. Terry, it's been a joy having you on this show. Like I promised, I'm going to have you back again, and we're going to talk about some other stuff and just giggle a bit and laugh a bit. But this was your first time. I know your family's there. I don't
Yeah.
want to keep you too long, so you don't feel like that's not why we're here. Your father will just come on the show and say, hello, Teddy,
I
what are
came
you
to
doing?
see you.
I came to see you, and here you are, chit chatting and talking all this time.
My mom can say, are you on the phone? Are you on the phone? I always walk around with my earpiece. Like
So
a
yes,
kid.
so they have to. We don't want to. We want that valuable time to be spent. But this is recorded, and I'm glad that you and I can have this conversation, have this chat. We'll come back again and have some more shows. I think you're going to be a great guest and a regular for me. Terry, just hold on 1 second, because you might have the last word. Just let me just. So normally, broken not shattered. I normally have the last word, which is peace, love, and more grace. That's what I always tell my audience. peace, love, and more grace. You, birthday girl, since I did not make it to the show, you can say whatever you want to say as the last word. So this is your producer. And don't blast me. You've done that before.
I won't blast you. Ike, man, first of all, you were my friend for life. I remember when I first met you, and we just clicked. And no matter what we've gone through, separately, together as friends, even though I'm mad at you for not being there yesterday, I kept looking, like I said, at the door, like he's going to walk in.
You thought I was going to surprise you, right? I know
I
you
knew, and it was midnight.
I know. Even my siblings thought I was going to pull a stunt and just show up.
Everybody, Abby. So anyway, I just want to say, friends, so important. Family, even more important. I'm so blessed that my parents are still alive, and part of the reason why I wanted to have this big bash here in the country was just to celebrate that. And then fun is really important, and I was just blessed that I'm gonna have to mention my dear friend Caroline Iwagu, who came from the States. And y'all, I love me an orange bag. No, I love orange. Girlfriend got me a Dior bag, so get some rich friends, guys. I got I wish I had it here right now. A beautiful, the Dior.
Right. Yeah.
So she says, "Are you taking it with you on vacation?" I said, "No, no, stay here." So friends, family, and fun, and then also my dear friend Jacqueline. Jacqueline. I just want to wish her and Caroline long life. My family, if I name them all, we'll be here till the next show.
Oh, yes, forget that. As a whole clan.
Yes, my mom and dad, and my brother Pat, who without him, I could not have pulled off this amazing bash. But hats off to you and your family as well, Ike, who've been my extended family, and this amazing show. And to everybody out there listening, hopefully I've given you something fun to hear, some inspiration. And if you're going through something, just know you will get through it. I looked 10 years older when I got through my divorce, but I pulled my way out of it. I think I look younger than I did before I got divorced now.
I agree.
Thank you.
Because age is not a number.
I'm Benjamin Button. So anyway, so friends, keep them close, dear. Family, love on them, even when you don't want to. And number one, always have fun. Just keep it light. Find a way every day to do something nice for yourself, big or small. I have a bath every night, and I listen to music or watch TV in the bath. I have a TV, and that was a gift from my ex-husband. It was a TV screen above my bathtub, and I do that and soak up and watch a movie or listen to music, and it just relaxes me. Take an hour a day
for yourself.
Yeah, for yourself.
Self-care. Thank you so much, Terri. Thanks for being here, and thanks for making out time to be at the show today. We'll see you again when you come up from your trip. 2-3 weeks, and we'll catch up and we'll try and journal most of the trip so you can have some stuff that we can talk about while you're away. Okay. Definitely. Take care and have a safe one, guys. Thanks, guest Terri Dodds. On behalf of all our audience across the world, I just want to say a big thank you to all of you, and thank you for all your support and being with us all these years as we continue to push this program forward, broken but not shattered. On behalf of the media team at the back and my co-host who is not here, Obi, I want to say to you my 3 words again: peace, love, and more grace. Take care, love you, and goodbye.